You have direct material and direct wages. You know that these two will come under prime cost. Production number of units will be how many units? 8,000 units. Number of units sold, those things done. Output will be 10,000 units. Factory overhead in 2015 into 100 divided by prime cost. This will be your formula. Hello everyone, I am your Adarsh sir, lecturer in Vidhyaashram First Grade College, the Temple of Excellence. So we are in the topic called cost accounting. Under cost accounting, we are doing cost sheet. So this will be your last session for your first chapter. As I told you, up to session 11, it is all about your examination problems. Now, in your syllabus, they have mentioned that problems on quotation. That's why for the safer side, we are doing 2 problems on quotation. Now, so along with that, in your notes, you will get 3 to 4 problems solved one. So that with the solution and working note, you can solve another 2 problems. Now, today we'll do one problem. It is exactly similar to what we did in the last session. Compared to your last session, the today's session, the problem is easy. Now, so what will be the agenda for today's session? The agenda is very simple. Problems on cost sheet. Now, the following are the particulars for the production of 8,000 units for the year 31st December 2015. In the last problem, the quantity was little confusing for you. Why? Because everything was given for 10 lakh. We need to convert into 1000, like 100 rupees for every 1000. So everywhere the conversion was required. But in this problem, it was given directly. The number of units are 8,000. Directly your answers can be divided by 8,000. Now, similarly, wherever we get concept called quotation, you are supposed to prepare 2 cost sheet. One will be your normal cost sheet, and along with normal cost sheet, you are supposed to prepare one more. That will be your quotation. Now, the first thing will be following are the particulars for the production of 8,000 units for the year ending 31st December 2015. Now, in this, you have direct material, direct wages, factory overhead, then office salary, office rent, general expenses, and finally you have selling and distribution overhead. Now, in this, so these are the informations you have. These are the informations you have. According to this, you are supposed to prepare your cost sheet. Now, you have direct material and direct wages. You know that these two will come under prime cost. Then, once you're done with your prime cost, you will be asked for factory overhead. This will be factory overhead. See, if the problems on quotation, the problem won't be lengthy, it will be smaller. Means the whatever topics are informations they give very limited, but the concepts are more. Now, next one will be office salary, office rent, general expenses. All three comes under office and administration overhead. All comes under office as well as administration overhead. So we're done with these things. Direct material, direct wages is your prime cost. Factory overhead is your factory overhead itself. Office salary, rent, general expenditure comes under office and administration overhead. Almost 80% we have done. The last thing, it is nothing but selling and distribution overhead. All the informations they have given. What are the number of units? 8,000. Remember that because you have to do calculation for finished goods. In case of quotation problem, the units are very important. Normal problem, it is easy, just you have to divide and write the answer. But in case of quotations, so for sales as well as your finished goods, we have small calculation. We'll do that. Now, these are the additional informations they have given. Now, Number of units sold 7,500 at 220 per unit. For the next year, costing department has made a following estimation. See, up to this, like your previous information, and up to this, we call it as normal cost sheet. Up to this, we consider for normal cost sheet. Now, whatever other informations they have given, this is for quotation. Remember, your first cost sheet is done, the informations, whatever further informations given, everything for quotation. Now, we will understand and we will see later. First, we'll prepare normal cost sheet. We'll go for the answer. Now, this will be statement of cost and profit for the year ended 31st December 2015. Production number of units will be how many units? 8,000 units. Now, out of this, first will be your direct material. Now, what will be your direct material? It will be 3,20,000. Where can you find? I'll go back to your question. Your direct material 3,20,000 and direct wages will be 4,80,000. You should add both. 3,20,000 plus 4,80,000. Your answer is 8 lakh. We'll come back, the last column will come back later. Now, what is your total now? 8 lakh. Now, add your factory overhead. Where can you find your factory overhead? Your factory overhead is how much? 2 lakh. Take 2 lakh as your factory overhead. Your factory overhead is 2 lakh. So 8 lakh plus 2 lakh, it will be how much? 10 lakh. So it will be 10 lakh. Up to this, any doubt? No doubt. Now, office and administration overhead, add everything. 2 lakh 40 plus 40,000, it will be 2 lakh 80 plus 120, it will be 4 lakh. So, if you add 4 lakh, you will get how much? 14 lakh. What is this 14 lakh? Cost of production. Once you're done with cost of production, you have to do calculation for finished goods. As I told you, in your problems like quotation, even though they have not given anything about finished goods, we should only calculate. How? We will understand. Now, cost of production, you got 8 lakh. It is a working out for you. Remember, this is not part of this thing. This is separate working out, not in rupees. It is in units. Now, up to this we have done. So, 3,20,000 divided by 8,000, you will get 40 rupees per unit. 4,80,000 divided by 8,000, 8 lakh divided by 8,000, 2 lakh divided by 8,000, 10 lakh divided by 8,000. Everything is done. Yes. Now, the next thing will be 4 lakh divided by 8,000. 14 lakh divided by what? We'll check now. So, total number of units, how much? 8,000 units. Now, what will be your finished goods? Like, I'll go back to your question. Number of units sold, 7,500. Still 500 are closing stock because you have 8,000 units in production, but you sold only 7,500. Means what about this 500? That is called closing stock. Now, out of 8,000, 500 units are still in unsold closing stock. So you sold how many units? 7,500. Now, very simple. Total you got 14 lakh. How come you got 87,500 for closing? Simple calculation. If 8,000 units is equal to 14 lakh, how much for 500 units? Now, simple calculation, you have to do cross multiplication. How to do cross multiplication? Now, 500 into 14 lakh. I'll show this. 500 into 14 lakh divided by your 8,000. If you do this calculation, you will get 87,500. 500. Same thing we did in the last problem also. Now, normally closing stock value will not be given. We should only find out. How to find out means your cost of production value we have to compare. Now, for 8,000 units, if it is 14 lakh, how much for 500 units? How much for 7,500 units? Similar calculation, 14 lakh minus 87,500, you will get 13 lakh 12,500. Now, once you're done with this, you have to go for selling and distribution overhead. It is simple to calculate. Selling and distribution overhead, it is given like it is 75,000. Now, so take 75,000, add, you got 13 lakh 87,500. Simple. In this problem, no complication. Why? Because sales already given. It is 7,500 into 220. Now, 7,500 into 220, you will get 16 lakh 50,000. Now, 16 lakh 50,000 minus 13 lakh 87, you got answer called 2 lakh 62,500. Clear? Yes. So, everything same to same. Number of units 8,000, everything you divide by 8,000. But remember, your sales must be divided by not 8,000, it will be 7,500 because you have not sold all 8,000. You have sold only 7,500 units. Remember that word. Now, so this is done. So we have done with your normal cost sheet. Normal cost sheet only takes much time. The estimated or quotation will be easy for you. No much calculation. But in the normal cost sheet, the only complicated thing is this finished goods. If you understood this finished goods, you have understood the quotation problem. Now, so I don't want to explain this again. Why? Because you should only learn this. So, few things faculties cannot teach you. Few things you have to teach yourself. I can give you idea, but learning is your part. Why? Because these things, by just listening to this, you will not understand. You have to work out once. That's why I write the working notes here itself. While working out, you may feel that how come we got this 87,500? This 87,500 with the help of this calculation you got. Rest of the things you can calculate there itself. Clear? Yes. Only for this 87,500 we need this working out. I can mention that. So this we got with the help of working note, so that there is no confusion. 87,500 you got with the help of these working notes. How come it is 8,000? This is 8,000. How come it is 500? Now 500 is very simple. Your sold is 7,500. You have 8,000. The difference of 8,000 and 7,500, we call it as your closing stock. Hope you are clear. Now, so we have done with normal cost sheet. Now we'll move to what? Your quotation are as estimated. As I told you, always when we go for quotation, we start with cost per unit, then we'll go for overall value. In the normal cost sheet, we start with value, then we'll go for per unit is how much. I'll show you that. See, first we'll do total cost, then we'll do cost per unit. But in this, first we will do cost per unit, later we'll go for total cost. Now, in the normal cost sheet, this amount will be divided by this, but in the quotation, this amount should be multiplied with this. We are not dividing, we are multiplying. We are going ulta. If you are going ulta means you have to go for multiplication. If you are going normal means you have to go it for divisions. Clear? Yes. Now I'll go back to your question. Few things we left out. We'll find out that. Yes. In this. Now, number of units sold, those things done. Output will be 10,000 units. Though the first cost sheet we prepare, that is for how many units? 8,000. What we are going to prepare, that is for how many units? 10,000 units. Now, the price of material will rise by 25% on the previous year level. So whatever material we have taken, like we were taken around material is 40. So how much we took for cost sheet? Material is 40. But the price of material will rise by 25%, means your 40 plus 25%. 40 plus 25 means it will come around 50. Now, second one, wages will rise by 10%. I'll go back. Wages you had 60 rupees, 10% will be high. Now, it was 60 plus 10%. 10% will be increased. Then, next one, factory overhead will rise in proportion to combined cost of material as well as wages. How much material increased, how much wages increased, together will calculate for factory. We'll do calculation at the time of problem. I'll explain you. Now, selling and distribution overhead will remain constant per unit. Per unit, selling and distribution, how much we have? Selling and distribution overhead, we have around 10 rupees per unit. It will not change. It will remain as it is. Your selling and distribution will remain same to same 10 rupees unaffected. Now, prepare a statement of cost as well as profit. In this, we don't have any calculation for finished goods. In this, we don't have any calculation of like how to calculate, how we did for normal cost sheet. Now, see, first one, direct material rate in 2015. It was 40. We added 25%. It will become 50. Any doubt? Easy. We'll go for last column later. Now, and your wages, it was 60. Now 10% added, it will become 66. Now 50 plus 66, it will be 116. Now up to this, no doubt. Next, factory overhead, it will be given what? Factory overhead will rise proportion to the combined cost of material and wages. What we call combined cost of material and wages? Prime cost. So how much increased? It is increased by around, factory overhead will rise. So proportion cost of material and wages. We'll come back to that. Now, so this will be your factory overhead, 25% of your prime cost. Now, in this they have mentioned 25. You may have doubt. So in the question, nowhere they have mentioned 25. Why did you take on 25%? I'll show you the working note. This will be your working note. Why did we take 25%? Now, factory overhead in proportion to combined cost of material, wages are prime cost. Now, factory overhead in 2015 into 100 divided by prime cost. This will be your formula. Now, factory overhead is how much? 2 lakh into 100 divided by how much is your prime cost? 8 lakh. Again, I'll show you. Your factory overhead is 2 lakh multiplied with 100 divided by 8 lakh. You got what is the percentage here? It is 25%. Now I'll go back. This will be your 11,60,000 into 25%. You got around 2,90,000. You got in amount, not in per unit. So 2,90,000 divided by your number of units is 10. It will be 29. Hopefully it is done. Now, if you take final 11,60,000 plus 2,90,000, your final answer is 14,50,000. Clear? Yes. In this, the only thing you have to learn is how did you take this factory overhead. For this, please go for working note. In the working note, you got this concept. Please go to working note. You will get how did you get this 25%. And after calculation, you got 2,90,000. 2,90,000 divided by your 10,000, you got 29. Now, so you have done up to work cost. What is the next procedure? You have to add selling and distribution. Now, Your selling and distribution, they have given selling and distribution overhead will remain constant per unit. How much it was? It was around 10 rupees per unit. So it will be same thing. Now, your office overhead. Office overhead, it is similar. Your 2 lakh 40,000, 1 lakh 20, it will be 4 lakh. So 4 lakh for 10,000 units. It will be how much? 4 lakh and divided by 10,000. So all 4 zeros are cancelled. Your answer will be what? 40. So this will be 10,000 units. Remember. Now, so your office overhead is this much. Divided by 10,000, you will get 40. Your final answer is 4 lakh. This is all about your office. Now, cost of production will be, if you add everything, you will get cost of production. How come you got 185? 145 plus 40 is your 185. Now, you have done with everything up to cost of production is done. Up to this, any doubt? No doubt. Now we'll come for the last part of the question. Now, selling and distribution, as I told you, it will not change. It is 10 rupees only. 10 into 10,000, it will be how much? 1 lakh. So it is easy. Now, the last part is, you got total cost 185 plus 10, it will be 195. Now, and 18 lakh 50 plus 1 lakh, it will be 19 lakh 50. Up to this, no doubt. Now, how come you got this profit and how come you got this sales? I'll go back to your question. In the question, they have mentioned the net profit per unit remain the same. So means it will not change. Easy to calculate. Now, what was your selling price? So the selling price, it was 220, but now it will change. Why? Because the net profit will remain same. In this, what was your net profit in your first thing? It was around 35 rupees. In your normal cost sheet, net profit will remain same, means it was 35. Now also it should be 35 only. Now in this, you have to take 35. 35 multiplied with 10,000. It will be how much? 3,50,000. How come you got 35? This 35 you got because in the question mentioned. So it should be remain same. Now 195 plus 35, 230. 230 into 10,000, you got 23 lakh. Like this you have to calculate. See, now at home the same problem, please work out. Don't skip this. Now if you did not understand, again switch on the video so that if you listen second time, you will be familiar with all the numbers. For you it will be easy. Simple. If you go and watch some English or some other language movie, first time you will not understand. The same movie if you watch again, then before the next scene only you will get it that next scene will be this one, next scene will be this one. You will started linking the scene so that you will understand better. Same thing, if you find anything which is complicated, you have to spend time on that. You have to watch the same thing twice, thrice, until you understand, until you learn. So this is all about your today's session. These are the working notes. You can use this. So I'll show you all these slides so that you can take screenshot. So this will be your agenda and this will be your problem question. This is the first part of your question and this is the second part as well as your adjustments. This will be your first part of your answer. First part nothing but your normal cost sheet. This will be your second one, quotation. In the quotation part 1. This will be your second as well as last part of your quotation. And this will be working note to find out the percentage. So this is all about your today's session. So we're done with one problem. As I told you, your session 12 and session 13, these two will be supplementary for you. Means if you want, you can go. Don't spend much time, but better that something is better than nothing. So please work out these problems. Thank you.